I'm Max Babsheim, the Director of Project Integration at Digestion. I started at Digestion in marketing, so where I had come from another startup marketing firm. On joining the team here, I did a deep dive into the industry to understand what it was I was going to be marketing. So looking at our products and services, looking at our clients, it involved really understanding what we do on a scientific level so that we could effectively take that out and tell people about it. So a lot of reading, a lot of understanding. That led into starting to take over some of the QA on our reports that went out, making sure that they were well written and frankly marketable. As part of that, just developed an understanding of the industry and what needed to happen for successful projects. So as we started to delve more into helping at the early stage project design, it became natural for me to step away from marketing into a role of helping plan out projects. Over time, that became a leadership role. We were able to bring on a team to facilitate that as I was able to step back into my experience of management versus the hands-on report. Historically, it hasn't been project integration, it was project development, which we don't do. It was really project pre-development. So the idea of that department was setting forth a vision of what an anaerobic digestion project could be. So at the very earliest stage, from looking at an area, could we build a vision of what could become an industrial scale project? That was based on the fact of Digestion is a research laboratory. So we knew the feedstocks, we could apply that to build a production model. From a production model, we could build out a technical plan. And from all of that, we could put together a financial plan. So it just very naturally progressed into doing early stage feasibility. But again, we're not a development agency. We don't take things through construction. So what we have been asked to do, though, is help projects that are going into development, going into construction. So as an owner's rep, or in this case, an integrator, being able to set the vision and then work with developers on ensuring that vision is realized in some form or another. Just like an architecture firm, the first draft is never what you're going to build on the street. But it allows us to help our clients move through that process in a way that keeps a working project throughout, and understanding where that project is going to end up as we get more and more clear data throughout the different steps.
Hi, I'm Abu Hasnat, leading here as an engineering analyst, mainly taking over the feasibility study for an R&D project at Digestion. In the integration department, I'm overseeing mainly the feasibility study components, the smooth coordination of them. For example, a feasibility study mainly involves many components like feedstock estimation, feedstock production, like how much biogas will be produced for a proposed project. And to do so, you need a lot of mathematical calculation like mass energy balances, and including the lot of desktop survey. So my team involves on that. So I need to analyze this data and put together, and financially coming together and coming with a proposed process flow diagram and initial project design. And then based on that, the CapEx and OpEx model to come up with the project economics, so that a developer or investor can get an idea whether it's a good project which is worth investing or not. So that kind of decision they can make out of it.
We are first and foremost a research laboratory. So our lab is constantly looking at the new innovations in the industry and creating new innovations in the industry. So my department takes those details and that understanding and applies that to the work we're doing. Right now, a big push is on pre-treatment methodologies. How do we prepare material in such a way that it can effectively be digested? And what technologies are out there that can be applied to this industry? So ultimately, it's working very closely with the laboratory and telling them, we're working with this material, what do we need to know? And they give us excellent answers that we're able to apply into an industrial basis. I think the biggest challenge we face is when we enter a project, it's at the very first stage. It's just conceptualizing what a project could be. Taking that from just a vision and a possibility through to reality is a hurdle, a big hurdle. You have to deal with the realities of logistics, of contracts, of every single piece of your vision can change as you start negotiating with dozens of different stakeholders, whether that's governments, permitting, whether that's different feedstock providers. On some of our projects, we have a dozen, 24 different feedstock providers that need to come together to make a project work.
We ensure at every stage in the integration phase, we have all the stakeholders stay informed and get up to date on the information that or whatever the work progress we are making, to ensure that there is no loophole or kind of misinterpretation, because that may cause down the line very complicated things. It might have a negative impact on the project design phase.
In all of those negotiations, some of them might not come to fruition. So we're constantly having to revise that initial vision of what a project could be as we're moving through these different stages. If negotiations go bad for one feedstock, we're looking for the next. So we have to be flexible throughout this process. And that's where integration comes in. It's how do we keep this project moving forward towards a successful finish line. We've moved from being just a department doing pre-development, doing that vision, to working with clients to integrate their projects. So by being involved at that early stage and really working closely with a client on what is the vision here, we help them overcome the first hurdle, which is there a project at all?
Hi, I'm Luke. I'm a junior project consultant here at Digestion. I oversee a lot of the smaller details that go into a feasibility report. So I look at things like a region's overall feasibility, as well as some of the utility costs, as well as many of the other factors that can determine whether or not a project is going to move forward. I'd say a lot of the skills that I have to perform my job successfully are determination, problem solving, and being able to kind of roll with the punches. As we see a lot of changes come through, we want to make sure that our models are still as accurate as possible. So tweaking things here and there and making sure we are able to find the details that we need on a regional scale, which can be difficult, but with a little elbow grease, it's achievable.
The integration department right now is really undergoing a fairly substantial shift from being just that early stage feasibility department to one that is fully invested and involved throughout the different stages of development, to being involved in the procurement process, to being involved in the engineering process, all the way through into construction and early stage operations.
I'd say the most satisfying part is when the little details that I find out make their way into a bigger report, and then knowing that we are creating an opportunity to handle our waste differently in a more effective and environmentally friendly way.
The goal is really clean everything. Clean soil, clean water, clean air, clean energy. It can't be just one. It has to be all of those combined. Otherwise, you're upsetting the balance. In the vision at Digester Doc, Anaerobic digestion plays a key role in this. Waste is going to happen, it's inevitable. So how do we manage waste responsibly? And that starts at the very beginning. What can we do to take this thing that is a waste stream and turn it into a positive? How can we effectively manage that in such a way that it is both environmentally and economically responsible? Just like with the clean everything, you can't just be environmental and you can't just be economic. You have to be both or nothing works. So that's always been the mission of Digester Doc, and that is at the core of the integration department. We want to help clients envision projects that are so economically rewarding that it is financially irresponsible to not do what is environmentally friendly. And that crosses every barrier. It doesn't matter if it's the blue or a red state. It's environmental and economical. No reason not to do it.